In my prior videos, I proposed and hopefully made a good case for two of my beliefs. The first is that God exists. It's really the most logical explanation for how such a complex universe can exist and form, and how it can all be held together and develop. It's a much more logical explanation than things just happen by chance. The second thing that I propose, though, is that this godlike force, or this God force, is not the Dumbledore figure that most religions, the major religions, have developed. This bearded, wise man. And even if you change the gender or the look or the race of this God figure, the major religions and even past religions still put human attributes to this God. And it goes back to the concept of anthropomorphism that I've discussed. But it's also a way of, it's the only way we have of explaining things. I want you to describe an apple. All right, it's fairly easy. You could describe its shape, its round, its color, the taste. When you describe it, you use your sensory experience, how it tastes, looks, feels, smells, and that's the way you describe it. Have you ever heard of somebody describing an apple just saying how it made them feel, the emotions that it gave them? It's not a good explanation. Now, what if you take away the physical attributes of the apple and try to describe it to somebody simply based on how it makes you feel or what it can do for you, the benefits, all right, without using taste, touch, smell, feel, sight? It's virtually impossible to describe. And even if you said, oh, I really enjoy it, it helps, it suppresses my appetite, it gives me vitamins and minerals, without having the sensory input, the person you're explaining it to could have a completely different image. They could be picturing an orange or a pineapple or anything that makes you feel good, makes you feel satiated. And, so describing things that we can't see or hear or taste or touch is very difficult. And this is why we have difficulty with abstract ideas like a God. So to better explain things, we assign these physical attributes because it's the only way we can help understand it. And I'm sure this is why we have so many different images of God and so many gods over the centuries and millennium, is because people picture them differently. Because the only part that we experience is the part you feel. You don't see God. We don't hear God. All right? At least not through the ears. Deep meditative states, people say they can experience God and they can listen to God. Unfortunately, there's some people that hear God through their dogs or other means and become misguided. So God is not something we can physically describe. So where does that leave us? Well, my belief is that there's another concept very similar to God, and that is love. Try to describe love. When you do that, you focus on the emotions, how it makes you feel. Compassionate, makes you feel happy, lighthearted, grateful, caring. When you describe love, you describe the emotions. Because we know we can't put physical attributes to it. So, but love is so much more than that. We hear love is caring, love is kind. But that's not the whole picture. Those are aspects of it. And to fully understand love, you just have to understand those emotions. But it is so much more than that. I believe love is a force, an energy. And so is God, is a force and an energy. And maybe there's a reason you, so to speak, never see the two in the same room together, right? Because look at what is said about the major gods, the true teachings. It's all about love, compassion, caring. It's all about helping your neighbor. All you need is love. Love is all there is. Love is the answer. And I believe this is more literal than people give it credit. A number of years ago, there was a letter supposedly written by Einstein to his daughter where he proposed that this behind-the-scenes force is actually love. Literally. Unfortunately, the letter has not been proven and is most likely false. But whatever the source of the letter is, I actually believe it's true. When you say God is love, love is God, it's not just a metaphor. I believe that the universe was created by this force. And if you want to call it God, and if it's easier to think of this force, think of God as a physical person, and you can assign whatever attributes you want. It doesn't have to be a crusty old Gandalf-looking guy, all right? It could be anything you want. It could be a child. But the important thing when you think of God is to think of what this God, what this force wants, what it means. And I mentioned in the first video that my mother told us God is everywhere. God is inside of us. Now, love is everywhere. Love is inside of all of us. And if we get in touch with that love and use that guidance and do everything based on that love, we are using godlike power. And it is part of everything we do when everything we do is guided by love. And this is the basic teaching. And when I look at the teachings of Jesus and the other great prophets and saints, this is the message that they give to us. It's not go out there and worship and say Hail Marys and say prayers. It's to go out and love your neighbor, love your God, love yourself. Because when you love, you're in touch with God. You're using that God power. And this is how intention becomes so powerful. And this is why manifesting is possible. Because when you're acting in conjunction with and using love, you're using your God power. And that's infinite. Anything is possible when you're using that. And that makes you powerful. That gives you the creative power of the universe. The ability to create the universe you want. As long as you're using that natural, that spiritual, that God-like gift of love. And The problem is, I shouldn't say the problem, but to truly understand your potential, to truly understand the power that you have, you've got to fully understand what love is, because love isn't just the emotion, and it's not you go out there and you just be nice to the people that are close to you and the family. Love is so much more than just being kind and grateful, and those are big parts of it, but there's more to it than that. To truly realize your potential, you've got to fully utilize love. And that means in all situations. That means love your enemies, love things that you don't feel are deserving of love. Or I should change that. It's seeing the love, because if love is in you and love is in everything in the universe, that means even the things that irritate you, the things that seem cruel, love is there someplace. And to witness that and see that is where the true power comes in.